Man, I had my second interview today. I'm just basically here to give y'all a little insight on what I've been kind of researching. This video is based on staying calm during interviews. So I have a few things that I want to speak about as far as that. Because, a lot of people, they get tensed up. They forget what they was going to say. They practice all night. And then when they get to the interview, they somehow forget about what they want to say and how they're going to say it. But I would tell you one of the key things that got me into, I believe I had a successful interview, is preparation is key. Preparation is definitely key because doing your research on a company will actually help you know more about the culture of the company. And that's really important, really important. And also practice answering out loud, mocking the interview. Just pretend that you're the person that's doing the interview and, just pretty much converse back and forth towards yourself about what it is that you want to interview, the preparation. When you prepare a story, it gives you some type of personality. I think that's really good to actually implement in your interviews. Just talk about the task, your actions, results, and even some of the behavior, things that you've been through during the time that you worked at your previous job. If they're asking that, but I'm sure they will ask you why you want to work for the company. Knowing your resume is key too. They're going to want to know everything about your background. So one of the things that they really want to know is how do you conduct yourself in your last job. So when you do that, I think that makes you more stand out-ish, because people will go to an interview thinking that it's all about them. Not really. It's basically all about what you know from your previous job and what you're going to do to manage it from this new job. Also manage your mindset. Shift your perspective. Think of the interview as, a conversation. I think that's most important too. Like when you out talking to a person, you don't want a person that you're talking to be all closed in and don't want to speak or speaking too shy or whatever the case is. You want them to you want it to flow. You want the conversation to go really well. And I think, like I said, that goes with, being prepared. Once you're prepared, you'll be able to actually just go about it like a machine gun, just go, 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 go. And sometimes you could get overwhelming with the conversation too. So you got to kind of, pipe it down a little bit. Visualize your success. Actually, when you visualize your success on what it is that you want to bring to the company, I think that would definitely help you as well. Improving yourself and wanting to calmly and confidentially want to put yourself in a position where as though you're comfortable explaining yourself to this company. So just being nervous, it is normal. I ain't gonna lie, I was there, I was kind of nervous, but I understood my position of where I wanted to be, and I stayed on that position. Feeling a little nervous, it kind of means that you care, but you want to kind of not do it too often. It's not a sign of weakness, but you don't want to do it too often. Body control. Man, body control. Now, in my videos, I talk to you guys the way I want to talk to you guys. But when I'm talking to somebody else or I'm conducting a conversation for an interview, I'm pretty much like relaxed, and I'm very expressive. And I need to do that more on these videos. Maybe I could get more, attention. Also take deep breaths, just relax, make sure that everything is cool and your heart rate is down. You don't want to go in there just hyperactive, sweating all over the place, looking crazy. You don't want to do that. You want to sit up straight too. That's another thing. Sitting up straight and talking to a person directly, eye to eye, brings you to a point where as though this person think you're serious about whatever it is that you're in a position that you're applying for. Sometimes it's good to pause. Let the person talk to you and make sure that whatever the conversation is that y'all having, correlates to whatever the question is that they're giving you. You gotta pretty much just listen to what they're saying. You don't want to overly talk. Sometimes we get overly excited, but you want to actually try to just pause and make sure that before you speak, just answer the question according to whatever it is that they're asking you. I would say the fourth thing I would bring up, I would say is practice techniques, basically practical techniques. Just use ground techniques. you want to, you know, give yourself like time to like convey your thoughts, you know, either like counting like 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and then just think about whatever it is that you're thinking about. This is just the preparation, not the actual interview. Of course, if you're in an interview, you can't say that, but you got to kind of think that in your mind. Just give yourself time to, you know, practice just relaxing and making sure your nerves is not jumping all over the place. I think that would definitely that would definitely help you a lot, trust me. Having a common routine. Sometimes it's good to you know, meditate, you know, read a book or play your favorite game, or, you know, something that's going to help you through your, you know, interview process. Because I can't tell you enough that every time, and this is when I was a supervisor, and at the time I used to work at the Plaza for, you know, Prime Flight. And it was funny because a lot of times they come in the office and you can see that they either too calm or they just too nervous. And it's okay to be in between. You don't want to be too calm, because if you're too calm, they're going to think that, okay, well, this guy actually, you know, he don't want the job. Actually, he's not focused on whatever the position. And you don't want to be too focused, because they're going to think that your mind is all over the place, like you can't process certain things. So you want to kind of have that balance between the two. And also I would say the last and not least, if you get stuck on a question, right, it's okay to say, hey, that's a great question, let me think about it for a moment. And I think that there shows that you care about the question that they asking you, and you also have time to process whatever question that they ask you. You know what I mean? So you're helping them to understand that, okay, I care about the question. I want to go about it in a different way, and also give you time to actually it actually buys you time. You know, it gives you time to actually figure out whatever it is the question is that they ask you, and you can answer it according to whatever it is else that they want to ask questions about. Because I can tell you some of these questions are tricky. My big thing was about customer service. I wanted to express that as much as possible, but to get them to know that I'm a team player, and, you know, safety and everything is key. But the one thing that they asked me, they threw a curveball at me, and they said, you're doing so well, I just want to know, do you know what the 3 A's are? And the 3 A's, I did not know what that was. And he actually expressed it to me. Can't really think about it, what it was at that moment, but he actually said what it was, and I was like, wow. But the good thing about it is that he said, you know, you already expressed that that's what you're about, you know, so that's a good thing. You were doing something that you didn't even know that exists, you know, an acronym that actually exists. I was like, wow, okay, learn something new. But yeah, so that's pretty much it. I don't want to get too in depth. So if you implement these things, you can share this video, you can do whatever you need to do to get other people that's in the process of getting to an interview, to help them prepare. It was nice being here with y'all. I appreciate y'all. Thank you for watching. You know, like, comment, subscribe. If you have anything that you want to talk about, just, you know, put it down there. Anyway, thank you. I see you. Peace.